Hello, my fellow golf addicts. Paul, the golf guy Charron here. And as always, I want to welcome you to the Golfer on Fire podcast. Once again, we're changing it up. We're taking it out on the road. And today we're going to do an interview from the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame and the historic Las Vegas National Golf Club, as you can see here in the background. We're going to have some aircraft noise. That's part of being outside and being in the elements, but that's no problem. We're going to have some more info about the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame and the Las Vegas National in the show notes on the website as well at golferonfire.com. So we'll get those out to you here when we get the show live. We're also recording video, obviously, today, and we'll have that up on golferonfire.com. Now, the gentleman we have on the show today has dedicated much of his life to golf here in Las Vegas. He's been the narrator of the Las Vegas golf scene since 1993 after graduating with a degree in communications from our hometown university, UNLV. He was the co-founder of Vegas Golfer magazine. He's been published in Golf Magazine, has appeared on a variety of television shows, radio shows across the country talking about golf. He's authored a book called The Las Vegas Country Club Chronicle of an Icon, which is available on Amazon, by the way. I saw that this morning. And he's co-authored City of Champions, The History of Professional Golf in Las Vegas with Jackie Sheehan. That's this book here, which he's got me a copy of, so that's really cool. I can't wait to read that. And currently he serves as the founding editor, right, as golflasvegasnow.com and mesquitegolfnow.com, and he's president of the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame. And if it's about golf, or specifically golf in Las Vegas, Brian has written about it or got his hands in it. So I'd like to give a red hot Golfer on Fire welcome to Brian Hurlburt. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Cool. So we're going to get to, I know you got to be a golf nut, so we're going to get to know you a little bit, and then we're going to talk about, obviously, what you're passionate about, which is the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame, which I think is a really cool thing that you've done here. So how did you first get introduced to golf?
Well, my grandfather on my father's side played the game a little bit. I remember my first memories back in Cleveland, Ohio, where I didn't live but would visit him. He had a real old set of clubs in there and big yard, so I'd kind of hit those around, but didn't play much as a kid. Here and there a little bit with my dad, but nothing serious. Then played a little bit more in college just for fun, going out and having a few beers and just doing it purely for fun and recreation. And then I majored in communications at UNLV, and a golf publication called Las Vegas Golf Magazine showed up at a restaurant where I was an assistant manager of at night, and they wanted me to, or I went and asked them if I could become a writer during the day, and they said sure. Cool. And next thing I know, I became an editor, and here I am 20 or so years later in the golf business. Had no idea that would happen, but here I am, and it's been a great ride.
Very, very cool. Now, were you born here in Vegas, or are you a hometown boy?
I was not born. I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Moved here when I was 7 years old, so I consider myself a native.
Very cool. Yeah, I think if you lived here more than 20 years or even 10 years, you're considered a native because there's so many people. Such a transient spot. I've been here since '91 now, so I consider myself somewhat native. But what do you think is the biggest misconception about golf, like from non-golfers? The old man's game and stuff like that.
For golf in general?
For golf in general, yeah. Misconception of people outside when you say you're involved with golf. For me, it's always like, you play that old man's game.
Right. I would say it's the old man's game. It's for only the rich guys. It's very difficult to play as far as gaining access to courses. If you really look at it, there's a lot of public access courses out there that aren't that expensive.
Right.
A wide range of demographic plays the game. It's not the rich man's sport, as a lot of people say. Yes, there is that culture of it for sure, but you go to Las Vegas Golf Club or some of the other courses around town, and it's a diverse group of people that love and play the game. So I'd say that's it's kind of like any stereotype. If you dig a little bit deeper, it's not going to be true.
Absolutely. And I agree. It's actually an easy game to play. It's a hard game to master. So I think that's the misconception as well. There's a lot of that. And do you have a least favorite part of golf? I mean, there's some rules for me that I just like a little bit torn on, but I understand you got to have that. What's your least favorite thing about the game?
Well, I mean, the rules are the rules, and if you don't play in tournaments, you don't get bogged down with those. But I would say just there's still a general feeling to me in golf of that you're honored to be at, or you should feel honored to be at the course, where I think the golf courses should be a little more welcoming. Just the whole golf culture in general should probably reach out and not be I don't know if standoffish is the right word, but just welcome everybody, because it is a great game. Everybody should enjoy it. And,
right.
We should do whatever we can to welcome people.
It was one of my biggest pet peeves when I was in the industry as a golf professional, and when I got out away from my own golf course and started meeting other golf professionals when I was going through the GPTP program. I was shocked at that mentality of, that, I don't know, when people walk in, like you said, they should be welcome. And as a golf pro, if I feel uncomfortable walking into a pro shop, I know that average guy that's come from, Des Moines, Iowa, that's coming here to Las Vegas to spend $100 or $150 or $200 on a round of golf, I know that guy's really uncomfortable. That was always one of my pet peeves as well, and I think that it needs to be changed because, it's kind of an entertainment deal. It's part of the entertainment draw of Las Vegas, and I think it should be a more welcoming, entertaining spot as well.
I think there are a lot of people out there that do a good job, but just in general, I think, any business, golf specifically, we're here to serve the people, and to have when they come to play golf, they just want to have a great time.
Right.
And that's what we should always remember.
Right. Do you play on a regular basis now, or do you get a chance to play regularly?
I play, I don't know if regular is the right word, but I have a son who's 17 that's playing quite a bit of golf, so I sneak out with him in the afternoons and play in the occasional charity event. But just for my own pure relaxation and enjoyment, that doesn't really happen.
Right. Isn't that amazing? Once you're in the business, it's like the body shop guy whose car is in primer, the golf guy that doesn't get to play as much. I'm that same boat. I don't get to play as much as I'd like. Now, do you have a favorite golf club? I always ask that question. That go-to club when your game's going bad and you need that for sure thing. What's your favorite club?
I've got a 52-degree wedge that I'm pretty good in, and I've dialed it down to a 56-degree sand wedge too, that I finally, after 25 plus years, figured out how far I hit both of those. So I'm pretty confident.
Very cool. So you're a wedge guy. Awesome. And what's your favorite? Do you play out? Have you played areas outside of Las Vegas? What's your favorite place to play? I mean, I'm a desert rat, so then I tend to like the Hawaii's, Florida, stuff like that. What's your favorite area to play in?
I've traveled a little bit to play golf. I would say, I love playing Las Vegas golf, but I love playing in California. I've played in Arizona, been on vacation to Barbados, played there. So a lot of different places. So I don't know if I have necessarily one place. I spend a lot of time with my family in San Diego during the summers and played a lot of the courses there, including Torrey Pines. And, playing Torrey Pines is right up there with anything in the world, I would expect. And, we had the good fortune as a family to be there when Tiger won his last, hopefully not his last major, there at Torrey Pines when he made the putt. So that was kind of a thrill. Very
cool. Very, very cool. And if you could pick three people to be in your ultimate foursome, you're going to go out with four guys. What's your three ultimate people to take on your foursome?
Well, that's a tough one, but I would probably just keep it family, and it's something that I do a lot. But it's tough to only do three, but it'd probably be my dad and my two boys. We go out and play
Very
sometimes,
cool.
But I would extend that to my in-laws and daughters and all that, so that's a tough one to answer.
Great answer though. I like that. And nobody famous, just keep it in family. I like that. So we're gonna do what I call a quick fire round, just quick answers, and then we're gonna get into your bad boy, to your baby here, to the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame, and talk about Vegas golf, which you're so passionate about. So current handicap, if you have one, or if you had to guess.
It's a 6.
All right, pretty strong. Worst round of golf that you'll admit to.
As far as score-wise?
Yes.
A few years ago, I just got new Rocket Blades iron at TaylorMade, or TaylorMade Rocket Blades irons, and we played Rio Seco, and it was my first round with them, and it was like I had never played golf before. I don't even know we only played 9 holes, but I probably shot like 57, and I couldn't hit a shot.
And Seco's a tough golf course to begin with. Probably not a place to test your brand new clubs.
But they became my very good go-to set, and then I mentioned my son before, who's 17. He recently stole those clubs, so I went to a different. He's commandeered them. So I have a different set of clubs now.
Great, awesome. Favorite golf course? And I know it's hard because there's a lot of great golf all over the place, but do you have a favorite?
That's another tough question. When I look at golf, I kind of look at it for a lot of different things. I saw that question earlier. There's Las Vegas golf courses that, you can go play the old Muni, which is fun because that's where I played some golf growing up. You've got the Shadow Creeks that are the world's best. You've got Cascada that just blows your doors off. You got a place like Las Vegas National that has arguably the deepest history of any place here. The legends of the game have been here. So it's hard for me to just say a favorite. But then, like I mentioned earlier, Torrey Pines.
Right.
That's almost as good as it gets. So it's real hard for me.
Right, different aspects of different courses. Right. Do you have a favorite golf movie?
Got to go with Caddyshack. I mean, that's the easy one.
Absolutely. Gotta love Caddyshack. And favorite all-time golf professional, live or dead?
That's a tough one, but I would, again, go back to a friend of mine, and I would say Craig Barlow. I just like the way he goes about his business, local guy here. Just a guy that nobody ever gave a shot to, really, and he's been out on tour for 150 plus cuts. He's still trying to get back out there playing the web.com. He's had some struggles in his life here recently, family-wise, and he just keeps positive and goes after it. So I'd give a nod out there to Craig Barlow, but there's a lot of local guys, and Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods,
right,
Arnold Palmer. I mean,
a lot of great names out there. That's why that one's a tough. So Vegas, you've been in and around doing the Vegas golf thing since '93. Like we talked about, there's a lot of history here that I don't think people think of Las Vegas as a gambling town, which it is, but there's a lot of golf history here as well. Tiger's first win, correct, was here. That's correct, and at this facility, right?
One of 3 rounds played here.
Right, because at that time they were doing I don't remember, here, Desert Inn and
TPC
Summerlin. Right. So I think the finals were always at TPC Summerlin. They did like pro-ams and stuff here and Desert Inn. But and the Desert Inn, which is now the Wynn Golf Club.
Right. Yeah, Tiger shot 70 out here in the second round, I believe, of his tournament before he went crazy low on Sunday.
Right.
To catch Davis Love and nip him in a playoff.
And that's testament to how tough this golf course really is, because it is par 70, if I remember. I actually worked here in 95, so
par 70.
Par 70, so he shot par here, and very few guys ever took it really deep here during that event, because it's a tough golf course. More traditional layout, tree-lined and stuff. Again, ton of history at this golf course. First ever Tournament of Champions. That's an older event. That's a PGA event, right?
It is an official PGA Tour event. It's now the Hyundai Tournament of Champions. Still played in Hawaii, but it was created here in Las Vegas in 1953 at the old Desert Inn. Actually had a stop here again. Deep history at Las Vegas National in '67 and '68, I believe, before it went to La Costa in San Diego. But you mentioned that Las Vegas has a deep golf history. It's not just a Vegas golf history, it's an international, it's a history that has international ties. I mean, this is arguably the biggest event, or one of the biggest events on the PGA Tour, was played here first. Tiger winning here, obviously a seminal moment in golf. So that's a huge moment internationally, and the list goes on and on. The names, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Al Besselink won the first one in '53. Just goes on and on of names, including the LPGA Tour. They had a major championship here that not many people know about, but the list goes on and on of big names that have made big moments happen here in Las Vegas.
Right, literally hundreds of PGA events, LPGA events, all kinds of golf events. Is there a major LPGA event here?
Not anymore, but in 1961, the LPGA Championship, which is still played on the tour, I just changed name again. It might be the KPMG, that ties back to Las Vegas, but it was played here right at Las Vegas National when it was called Stardust Country Club. Mickey Wright, one of the greatest golfers in history, won it a couple times, but we go back way back with the LPGA Tour. The most recent event was the Takafuji Classic that was played out at Las Vegas Country Club. That probably left in 2008 or 9 or something like that, so we have not had the LPGA Tour out here, but they probably played 40 or 50 different tournaments over the years here.
We do have the Wendy's 3 Tour Challenge. They're still doing that, correct?
I think just got canceled.
Is that right?
This year, for the first time, it will not be played here in Las Vegas. I think they're kind of, with all the different events and silly season events that happen, I think they're kind of rebranding and trying to figure out what the next step for that. But
I did not know that.
Played, so.
Very cool. And UNLV, Running Rebels, they were 1998 national champions, correct?
Another big moment for Las Vegas and UNLV, first national or the second national championship in school history behind the basketball team. But some great players on that. Charlie Hoffman still out on the PGA Tour. Bill Lundy still playing the tour. We're on that team. So that was a great moment for the city. And a lot of people, I think, see that some of the guys play on tour that have played at UNLV, but they kind of don't understand the impact that UNLV golf had, because it kind of gave the blessing that it's okay to send a golf kid, that type of kid, to come live in crazy and sinful Las Vegas. So UNLV Golf has had a huge impact on the city, and that was part of Coach Knight's vision that he sold to the founders that helped create the UNLV golf program. He said, I'm not only going to have a great team, I'm going to create ambassadors that show what a great city Las Vegas is. And he's been hugely successful in doing that.
Very cool. Very cool. Major designers. We've had them all here. We've got some great golf courses here. We've got Nicholas design stuff. Who else are some of the bigger designers here in town?
I mean, again, almost anybody who's ever designed a course, from Robert Trent Jones, Jr. and Senior, Pete Dye, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Tom Fazio, Billy Casper, Greg Nash. Just trying to rattle them off on the top of my head.
Right.
But, they've pretty much all designed here and created some masterpieces. Right.
Now you may know this. The story I heard with, and we're going to kind of go off script a little bit. The story I heard with Fazio built Shadow Creek, all right? Obviously one of the top golf courses in the world. Now, Fazio also built the Prim golf courses, Prim Valley. Now, is it true that he was contracted not to do anything in southern Nevada and then built on the California border, which is only 45 miles from the Strip?
That is the common theory, and I'm on the opposite side of that because I don't believe it to be true. Number one, I've asked Tom Fazio point blank when I interviewed him about Prim Valley, was that the case? And he said no, which he's probably going to say no, whether it is or not. But my other evidence, knowing I don't know Steve Wynn well other than his public persona, but he doesn't seem to me to be the guy that would be real happy if a good partner of his went a mile over a state line and built a course. Right. He brought him back to help redesign Desert Inn into the Wynn. So that kind of gives me the proof that if Tom Fazio really would have done that, I highly doubt he would have come back and design the Wynn Golf Club. Which he did a phenomenal job. What a change in that golf course. I know you probably played the old Desert Inn when it was just this. It was really, for me, it was a flat golf course, and there's a lot of hype about it at the time. I thought it was pretty, but growing up in Canada with hilly and rolling hills and stuff, I was like, I didn't get that whole, I didn't get what was so special about Desert Inn, and now it is. What they've done there, the amount of dirt that they moved around, and what they've done to that golf course, I think is spectacular. It's a complete different change. Nothing like the original. Yeah. I mean, my heart kind of stays with the original because of all the history, but you cannot deny what Steve Wynn and Tom Fazio created out there. Absolutely. So, Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame. Can you walk me through the idea of that? Why did you do it? How did it come about? Was it a beer drinking thing? What was how did it come about? Well, it started off in '91 as the Southern Nevada Golf Hall of Fame, created by the Southern Nevada Golf Association and a lot of their board members, and it kind of was created just to honor people involved with the Southern Nevada Golf Association, board members, and different things like that. And then what they would do is kind of have the induction ceremony during their awards banquet at the end of the year. So you'd have kind of the net division player, then you'd have the Hall of Fame award, and they would do it every couple years. And then there was kind of a void where they kind of stopped doing it because they didn't really have a direction, and it's a big job. And, so they kind of reached out to Jack Sheehan, who I wrote the book with, and myself, and kind of asked us, would we take this project on? And we thought it was a good and valid idea. So in 98 or so, I think we kind of jumped in, took it over, decided we were going to have our own standalone induction ceremonies each year, and we do that now. We're the official kickoff event to the PGA Tour each year. Again, this year, Friday night prior to tournament week, we have the induction up at the Hill, so it's turned into a special night. We put together a great committee. Didn't have... I'll remember that meeting, and it kind of proves what type of city Vegas is. But we had this great idea of this exhibit that I think you're going to show some video of.
Yeah, we'll have some of that planned.
It's probably, give or take a $50,000 or $60,000 construction project. We didn't do that because we're a nonprofit and we got some good deals and some help and in-kind donations. But it probably cost us, end of the day, $20,000 or $25,000, and we made the decision to sign up the people to do that for us when we had, I think, $432 in the bank from our first very small golf tournament that we had. And so we signed the deal, and then we said we'll just go out and raise the money, which we fortunately did. We've created a nice exhibit that we're going to continue to add on to, but it's just a golf community effort to honor, the people that have played the game, the done good things, the teams, the organizations. Just do something to remember those that have gone before, while at the same time remembering that it's our job to promote the game of golf in Las Vegas to the world. So it's been, we're all volunteers on the board. Nobody gets paid a dime for what we do to do that, and we've just come up with, we now have our golf tournament at Cascada each year. Thanks to Eric Dutt. We have other committee members. Las Vegas Nationals hosted our home exhibit, and then, like I said, we have our night of induction at the kickoff the PGA Tour event. So it's just a real special evening, and I encourage anybody watching this to come to our night of induction. You'll walk out going, that was a really cool event.
Very cool. So those of you listening to the golferonfire.com podcast, if you head on over to golferonfire.com and look in the show notes, we're going to actually have the video up, and during the video, while Brian and I are talking, we'll have some of the B-roll stuff rolling in the background so you can see some of the exhibits here at the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame at the Las Vegas National. It's just a few miles off the Strip. It's really easy to get to. It's actually a great golf course to come out and play. Very few, everybody's pushing the newer golf courses now, Paiute and all that kind of stuff, but literally this golf course is just down the street from your hotel if you're staying on the Strip, and it's worth a play. So if you come out to the Las Vegas National, a lot of history out here, and you'll get to see the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame as well. So there's been a big decline of the golf industry over the past couple of decades. Well, I left the golf industry around 2007. I recently come back to start the golferonfire.com podcast. Around that time, there was a big decline. What do you contribute that to, and how do you see golf coming back? How do we build that base again?
Well, I think the biggest thing was the economy going down. That was the biggest impetus to the whole decline of the golf industry. But yes, golf has some challenges that they need to overcome, but I think there's also a lot of stats that are out there showing the game isn't as dead as it speaks. And I do some writing for Las Vegas Golf and Leisure, and a few months ago I wrote a story called Golf Ain't Dead.
I did see that, yeah.
The common theory out there, I think, with the media in general is golf is dead and it's dying and all this. But if you go kind of back further than it had a big boom and then the economy crashed and now it's kind of settled out. But if you take where we are now to where we were maybe 30 or 40 years ago, there is some growth. And I think there's some stats that show kids are playing the game and there's still growth out there. So the first point I'd make is golf as an industry isn't as dead as people maybe think it is. But there are still things we can do, kind of going back to, we need to be welcoming. We need to have fun. I love the quote from Mark King, who was the TaylorMade Golf CEO. He's now over all of TaylorMade, Adidas, the whole international conglomerate. Right. And he said, I can go to the nicest restaurant in San Diego, which is close to the TaylorMade Adidas headquarters, in nice jeans and a nice shirt, and they'll welcome me and I'll have a great day. But if I go to my country club in the same outfit, they're not going to let me in the door. And I think that's a microcosm of, you got to kind of change with the times, Right. Jean, you don't want to be a slob and all that kind of stuff, but you can wear nice jeans and you can look good and casual and all that and be welcoming, and still, like you said, you can go to a great restaurant dressed like that, but you can't go to a country club. That's kind of a little bit backward thinking in this day and age. It's probably softened a little bit, but get kids in the game. The PGA Junior Golf League is kind of like Little League for golf. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's a team concept for golf, just like Little League, which I think is going to have a big impact. The local chapter here is one of the largest groups in the country of it. I can't remember how many teams they had most recently, but it was double what they had last year, and it was a pretty big number, a couple hundred kids playing in a team atmosphere, which I think is big, because kids want to be together in golf. Right. For the most part, it's a solo sport, so it's hard to have that team camaraderie in the sport, but they're doing it. And there's a lot of other groups out there doing the same thing. Right. Very cool. What's the best, your contact information, what's the best way to get a hold of you if someone wants to do interviews or needs more information? Well, they can go through my websites, golflasvegasnow.com or lasvegasgolfinsider.com. My email address is bhurlburt@cox.net. Anybody can email questions about golf in Las Vegas or what I do or anything like that, but always look forward to the opportunity of talking about golf in Las Vegas in general, the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame, and anything like that.
Okay, cool. And we'll get that information up in the show notes as well for them. Now, the final couple of questions, and we'll let you go and finish this up. What has been the best piece of advice that you've received that helped you play better golf?
I saw that one too. I didn't come up with an answer. Let me see real quick.
It's tough. You get advice all the time. There's always somebody out there willing to, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. It's that one thing that you just went click, aha.
This really clicked. And when I wrote the book about the Las Vegas Country Club, I tracked down the first ever head professional there, a guy named Arthur Nightingale, who actually worked at this course as well during that time in the 60s. And at that time, he was in a nursing home, had lost both his legs to diabetes.
Oh, wow.
Could barely see, but he really wanted to take, his family had a tough life and didn't have a lot of family, didn't have a lot of visitors, so this was kind of a ray of sunshine that I came looking for him to interview for this book, and I actually flew to Seattle to interview this guy because he had a bunch of photos, and he took me out to do a golf lesson in his wheelchair, and I drove him out and could barely see, and he had me hitting my irons. I had the best iron session I'd ever had, and his whole thing, and he wrote a cover story for Golf Magazine that said, move your head when you swing. A lot of people will say in golf, do not move your head, and he had graphs and all this different things that showed, even though Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer in their books would say your head's like a vice, it doesn't move. You can see on video, you watch and go back and watch the old video of them and other golfers, their head will go back and it'll go up and it'll go down a little bit. So it's he always thought it was a misconception. So he said it's okay to move your head, and I kind of do that, and it seems to work.
Cool. That's awesome. A little bit of anti-golf there that's against the grain. So that's cool.
He got a lot of controversy when he wrote that in the 70s, and he was kind of to his own detriment. I don't want to use the A word here, but he would admit that he was not a guy that got along well.
Right.
And he would not try to subtly tell people that Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer were wrong.
Right.
He would say it in a way that kind of made people upset. And he was not saying they were wrong. He was just saying that he didn't think they understood that their head actually does.
Right. They were mistaken.
So.
Cool. And I always end up with this stuff because I think that golf for me mirrors life in so many ways, and I was talking to Paul Scarin from Golo the other day, and he said that before he goes into business with anybody, he likes to take them out on the golf course because it shows their true personality when they're on the course. And I said, man, that's such a great piece of advice because it is so true. That guy that's so calm and seems cool under pressure, you get him out on the course, he's throwing golf clubs, swearing, and you're going, wait, what's this guy going to do when we have a couple of issues at the office? So I thought that was awesome, and I just think there's so much of that in golf. I try to teach my son that, everyone shows their true character when no one's looking. Right. And same thing with golf. You're calling penalties on yourself, and it really shows your true character. So I think it mirrors life and business so much. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten about just having a better life, better business?
I would say find something that you enjoy doing and be passionate about it, and something will happen. You don't know where it will lead.
Right.
For me, as an example, it was kind of, I enjoyed writing. That's really all I figured, that someday I would enjoy writing, and I, communication majors in college, and I just kept doing that, and then loved to write, and it's taken me on this path it was. I had no idea where I was going with that, but I enjoyed it. I tried to be passionate about everything I do, and I've had some semblance of success, I think.
Very cool. Very cool. One more thing that just kind of popped in. Is there a way that people can donate to the Golf Hall of Fame? You guys take donations? People can help with that?
We do complete nonprofit 501c3. The best way to donate, in my opinion, is come attend our night of induction October 16th at TPC Summerlin. Go to LasVegasGolfHof.com. You can buy tickets right there online. You can play in our golf tournament next summer at Cascada, or you can just donate through the website and help us out. But every dollar we raise goes directly back to what we're doing. We don't have a huge budget, but allows us to put on a great night of induction. We have some plans that will be debuting with the exhibit and different things like that. But we'd love to have as many people as possible come to that night of induction, because it really, and I would urge, go to the website and we have a little introduction video about the Hall of Fame that shows some highlights of the night of induction. We've had inductees and people that attend the event stunned at what a special night it is, and I'm not just saying that because I'm involved. You just walk out of there going, this is special. Guys break down and cry. It becomes just a special night, and I urge anybody that has anything to do with the golf community, come on out. You will not be disappointed. It's only $125 per person. Includes wine and the cocktails before, great dinner, great venue, and anything above and beyond that goes back to the Hall of Fame.
Very cool. Well, Brian, I think what you've done with golf in Las Vegas is amazing, and again, I think it's not just locally. I think it has an impact, like you said, internationally as well, just on the game in general. So, guys, if you are in Las Vegas, like I said, and you get a chance to come out here to the Las Vegas National, play around, check out the Las Vegas Golf Hall of Fame, and support this. I think it's a really great cause, like I said, not only for golf here in town, but for golf all over the country and all over the world. Brian, thank you so much for talking with us at Golf on Fire.
I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to me about Las Vegas golf. Thank you very much.
Cool. Take care.